The Texas A&M has the forestry department. There might be some like free labor there as far as maintaining maybe the trees on the park or something. Because part of what they do is they go out into communities and they help them, take care of trees, diagnose trees, maintain trees, so on and so forth. So there might be something there. I also looked at the best avenue for grant money for us is probably the TPWD, which is the Texas Parks and Wildlife Department. And basically, I think that the grant that they were looking at, and correct me if I'm wrong, and I need to ask, maybe Mayor Garza can answer it. I think the grant that they were looking at for the sports complex and all that was actually a TPWD grant. I just don't know how far along they went with it. It'd be interesting to find out, because when you read it, it does allow you to like build new, but also it can be used for renovation and stuff. I think that's probably going to be our best avenue. I need to look into it a little bit more. I started a new job, so I've been kind of crazy busy, but my next meeting I'll try to have a little bit more research on specific grant needs and grant deadline.
What was that? Abbreviation again?
It's the TPWD.
If I can make a comment along those lines, Jonelle would be better suited to talk about this, but she talked to, it was one of the guys that you were talking about with,
Daryl Brumlow?
yes, it was Daryl, and had an extensive conversation with him, and they said that SARA does not have any money. In fact, they're underfunded right now because they did all of these projects, spent, millions on these projects, and then they forgot, or I don't know how to maintain them, so they're like under or over budget, let's put it that way.
Well, with the grants, one of the reasons I said I need to look into it more is because I pulled it from their website currently. All the deadlines were like last year or beyond, or further back, so I need to see if they're reallocating this money towards this year for grants too, because they haven't updated it as of.
Okay, well,
Yes.
he said there's absolutely no money, at least in the San Antonio River Authority, there's no. She's better to talk about it than I am, but she just, because she knew him, she knows him very well, and so she went over it. Now, she did say, he did give her a number to call, and she did call it, but I don't know if that guy ever called her back, because they do have a lot of, help, people that could help us, like, write up our, how we were talking about our priority list and our, to give to people and all of that. They do have people that could help us with that. And she did put a call in, but I don't know that they ever called her back. So, she didn't tell me that they called her. I don't think that they called her back, so.
So this is that one project that they met with Andy and the mayor, and I was told by Andy it'd be a good idea for me to sit in, and I talked about those 2 PhD holders. And I didn't send you or anybody else the email from the mayor. They were holding a conclave, I believe it's the 14th, where they'll talk about what they are doing and what they aren't doing. That'll make sense, because that's,
You talking about the San Antonio River Authority?
Yeah.
Okay. On April 14th?
no, that's a Sunday, so they can lay off.
Oh, okay.
And I can't go to that because I'm taking my wife to that Chinese dance thing. Wow.
Okay.
But like I said, when I say I talked to Andy, I'll find out more about the tracking, where they were going, how deep they had gone, that they submitted the paperwork for that TPWD.
We just kind of need to know where we're at, so we know where to move forward.
Right.
On another note, I think we are going to have to do something fundraising wise, just to kind of get the community more involved, so that they understand what we're doing and that they see that we have a presence, because I've been approached by a couple of different people in the community that they're just like, well, what are you guys doing? And I've mentioned,
That's why I got.
kind of trying to figure out where we're at.
That's why I got
That's really all we're doing right now.
For brainstorming and discuss.
Yeah.
things to do. VP's remarks. We got your meeting minutes, you had anything you want to add? So next time I'll just, we won't do the old business, just have the secretary report, and give us the
Right.
meeting minutes and go with it from there.
I don't really have anything to add, except Jonelle and I did go out to the parks, and we did pick out some colors that she has in her purse to bring to y'all if y'all wanna pick out some colors. She found, I mean, are we talking about this now, or we wanna talk about that later? Or what do we?
Might as well go do it now. I mean, I want to be flexible. You know, school flexibility is the key to air power, so the more we can do and go amenable. The reason I gave you this is that I think that our last bullet about brainstorming is probably going to be the whole gist. And then if you happen to get a chance to look through the Word doc that I sent, so we can redo the bylaws. And if you did like I did, printed them out. If you didn't print them out, we can just do it and I'll fix it. And the next meeting, I'll bring it in, get it flushed through with Andy.
Why isn't anything signed? Like all these-
I have no idea. I did on the voicemail ask Alex if he would talk to Stephen, since his brother, it was now, was the nice Columbus guy. Talked to me also. And both Stephen and Alex are members of the Knights, but they wanted a little, he wanted a little email to take it back to my phone. But anyhow, we can do something as simple as this. And once the nuggets in here, we know how much money we really got left, and whether she was able to resolve the $1,400 bill that the city paid. She probably would have made it. But why couldn't we do something as simple as this? Sponsor it, find a sponsor to do whatever. One of the guys I golf with is a long distance biker, not meaning Harley Davidson type. He did that ride out of Livonia a year ago. And he said he could set something up out of the Civic Center and go back home.
Mr. Jones,
Yes, ma'am.
I'm gonna go lock the front door.
Okay.
Will y'all go out and cycle?
Sure.
Because I have to meet you.
Okay. Thank you. But this would be something really easy that we could do. We could just figure out what we wanted to do. Or nothing else but, you know, a call out to the community, a little note in the paper. You know, we could show up one Saturday, like I said, was talking with Cindy outside. In one of the city council meetings, somebody came up and said, well, we've been out there working with the Little League and we fixed the fence that we showed that was needing to be fixed. Well, if they'd contacted us, we could have pitched in and somehow or another gain some of the notoriety, because that's one of those information that can only help us. Because that once people see us getting involved on some kind of project, but like you already said, that money's the issue. And now that our treasurer is here.
It's your turn.
It is my turn?
Smile for the camera.
Well, I was just now signing papers to get access to the account that has taken months. So nothing has changed in the account. We still have 4,000.
I still got to remit the 1,400, whatever.
Oh my gosh, here's all my notes. So today I have to send in AP 204. I just have to send papers because I finally, I think, got to the department that I need to be in. So I have to send the IRS paperwork. Now, none of this paperwork is signed though in here, this IRS paperwork. So it's Stephen Trevino, but nothing is signed. So, because they want to see the IRS paperwork.
Okay.
So.
Well, I suppose we're gonna have to touch base with Andy, that Lou Rosenberg did all that.
You have exactly what we have, right? Okay. Yeah, so.
Which goes back to when he answered Richard at the first meeting, are we truly a 501?
C3.
C3, which he said it did, even our certification document says that we are.
But yeah, see, these papers aren't signed, and this is the application, so they need the application, plus I have to fill out another form that they want, and then they'll review it. But I need a sign.
This is to even,
This is
What?
to be, because we are not recognized by the state of Texas as a 501c3.
okay, that's what I thought this was.
But now, we need to touch base with. The Secretary of State, Robanda,
Yes, and that is something,
back in June of 2010.
yeah, that does not certify that we're a 501c3.
The corporation is organized and is operated exclusively for charitable education purposes. B, makes distribution of support such revenue to other organizations that qualify as a dismissed organization under section 501c3 of the Internal Revenue Code, Article 4 here.
Yes, but that is not the proper paperwork. I have to send this. This is what I need to send, the
It's the tax
1023.
rate.
It's because the IRS, I don't even know if the IRS has this, I don't know, but it's, you know, and it says under section 501c3 of the Internal Revenue Service, the state needs this document, but it needs to be signed, and it's, the one that I have is not
Yeah, Randy signed this, the
signed.
cover, I mean, the certification that was filed.
Right,
Secretary of
that's, and
State.
see, that is what this is.
Right.
But they do not, that's why we got a franchise tax, because we are not recognized as a 501c3.
Even though we didn't make any money.
Oh, yeah, it doesn't matter, even on a 501c3, you still have to report even if you don't make any money.
I just don't get how we owe taxes even under a
Because
franchise.
it's a
tax.
franchise,
I know,
franchise
but-
under tax.
I know, but not until you get $1 million, I thought. They don't.
No, and there's projected earnings in here, so they took those
I think
projected
there are
earnings.
penalties for not filing as a franchise.
And there could be,
It's
there's-
probably just penalties.
But she told me on the phone that I think they even took like kind of an estimate, and I want to say those projected earnings that were in here that they projected,
One place is
90,000, like went from 30 to 60 to 90,000,
Yeah.
so I'm wondering,
I bet it's penalties.
Yeah.
I'll bet it's all penalties.
Yeah, right
So,
here.
because I file franchise taxes
yeah,
every
'cause
year
it's,
too.
I know, and it's.
Well,
And I've
very
never had to
fast.
pay franchise taxes. I just have to file them.
Right.
So,
Yeah,
The
I don't
90
know.
was the sum total of the.
And I don't know, I've talked to so many people that keep transferring me everywhere.
I had that today, just trying to get mine.
And you're waiting 15
Sound like
minutes to get
radio.
told you're in the wrong.
I know, you're waiting 20, yeah, I know.
So,
Crazy.
by people that love their job.
as I'm driving, my son is going to stood up.
Whenever I hear that, you know, queue, I can't, I was in Germany one time, I was standing in line and this British man came up to me and he said to me, "Are you standing in queue?" And I didn't quite get what he was saying. I said, "I don't know, what does it look like?" I was looking at the ground, I thought it was like a dog poop or something.
I used to work at USA, so we always knew how many calls were in queue.
Yeah, but now they're using it a lot in you know, in what do you call it, menus, you know, and
Yes.
stuff, so I said, okay, you're the fifth caller in queue, now I understand it, but during that time, and I was, what does it look like? You know?
Where's Q?
Yeah.
What's a queue?
He gave James Bond all of his thing told him. Okay, I guess you and I need to send it
Yeah.
whenever we can.
But I just got added to the Wells Fargo account, so I'm getting there today.
Okay.
So if I know, okay.
So the account shows we got 4,000 pushed out.
Oh, where was that? Yes, 4,000, let me say that. 4,338, I'm sorry, $4,383.15. And then the 26,995 was at the end of 2012 was in that other account that they collected all around.
Well, for those of you that didn't go to the rates study, there's approximately 2,500 connections in the city. If you do the rough math, October the 1st of 2011 to now, 17 months, times 2,500 is what should be in there. But yeah, we've yet been given. where that money was spent, and I wish Alex had come, I hope he still got Little League. Okay.
So basically, one of our dilemmas is that we have a lot of incomplete information.
Right.
Well, that's what we're gonna have
That's
to
our
do.
biggest
That's
dilemma.
that's a-
I'll
that's
get
the
on
problem.
Andy's calendar, go sit down. Of course, I guess another option would be go to Lou's Floresville office,
But then he'll build a city, we can't really do that.
you know, and just ask for the Park Foundation book that he let me have that first night, because it's about that thick.
Mhm.
And that may be the location of some documents that you would
I would
need.
think it would be.
Will he bill us for that?
I don't know, I'll try to get on Andy's calendar first thing in the morning.
Now, as, with the Little League and the fencing, see, because this really doesn't address the fencing, so Little League pretty much, I mean, when says, you know, that they fix them, but the problem is, you know, they fixed some the other day, but then it's a city park and you can't stop people from coming, and then when he went back out there, they were pushed in again. And he's getting parts and, you know, he's maintaining those, but, and they just do that, just because that, they're on the board and,
Well, in our defense, through the last 2 or 3 weeks, because I was here with the audit committee and then working with, going to city council meetings too, just to stay abreast of what's happening. For whatever reason, Sherry was tied up in other things last week. She says that there is a contract. They gave me this copy.
yes, that's the copy
Yes,
that we
it's the
have,
same
but it's
thing.
not the original.
Right. And she said it goes back to she thought to the 60s, whenever this place was started. But he would probably know more. since
Well,
he
Gary
was-
Pellick is aware, I mean, because he was a previous city manager, and he said it's probably, you know, yeah, I mean, his office, you know, he doesn't know what happened to the files, but there was a Little League file, so it's probably in a box, maybe?
Well, to show you the state of affairs,
There's a lot of missing paperwork.
Sherry.
I thought I was getting the original.
Sherry took me down to her office one afternoon, oh no, it was the mayor. And as you look, she's sitting at her desk to her left, there's a little bookcase. The city ordinances are not even categorized, labeled, stuff or stored, whatever. They're just in a book. And when you ask somebody, what's the penalty for violating an ordinance? It goes back, it's the city manager's responsibility. I said, okay, so like in the ordinance that created this foundation, if I decide, or we decide, that I don't wanna do something because I don't wanna do it that way, what's he gonna do to me? I mean, if there's no consequences listed, then, you know, what good is an ordinance? It's like I asked him, I said, okay, I come in off of the old road, coming by the golf course, coming into work car, and it says, by city ordinance, no engine braking. What the hell is that? So if they engine brake, what's the penalty if one, I knew what they were meaning by that. I always figured you're just letting off your gas pedal and let the engine torque slow you down. I guess it's some of the big trucks and diesels. But what's the consequence? And I think the mayor's finding out too, bless her soul. She's the one who got me this for it. And I told her, I said, I don't mind us taking it on to nullify the current contract and then get the players in here together that use the facilities so that we know and the city knows the what's and the where's. So you got everything from the soccer players that use in the Sonic area, you got the Floresville Wildcats and the Little League.
Boys
And I even
girls.
noticed on yours, something they pinned in or penciled in stuff back here.
Those are amendments.
Handwritten amendments.
Are they signed in blood?
Well, that
They're not
must,
initial.
that
It's
must
kind of an
be these.
agreement with Wildcats, because, like, if there's maintenance issues, since Wildcat uses it, they split, you know, they split those fees. Like in the lighting and the concession stand, so it doesn't just fall on Little League, or it doesn't just fall on Wildcat, so some of that was written in.
But again, it says proposed.
I know, nothing
Right.
is signed,
And that's-
I know,
That's all the thing through there.
I know.
So that's not even worth the paper it's written on. So it's something, hopefully that whatever was delaying Sherry's time, so let's find it for us.
This may be the contract. I mean, we may be hoping for something that where this is it.
No date on it, so.
Private ownership's one thing, but you know, if they actually ponied up with the exception of some things, like the mayor believes that they're supposed to keep it cut,
Who's supposed to be the
the little league,
Uh-huh.
and that they get the materials through the park budget.
But this says different.
Yeah, this says
Yeah.
city.
This says, and the city is mowing it,
And,
City for
and-
watering and mowing.
and that's what this says, and that's what the city's doing. And not, and the other thing that the mayor said was that, that they were supposed to be paying electricity, and they're not.
no, they don't pay the
Yeah, they
electricity,
don't
they
pay
pay
the
the maintenance on the lights, but they don't pay the electricity. And they don't pay the fertilizer,
Yeah,
the
they-
city pays the
Right,
fertilizer.
right.
Right,
That's what
It
we're on.
defines
yeah. They get it from Ludianski's.
Find out why, because we need his expertise.
I'd also like to know, on the second page, it's talking about the insurance, if proof of insurance has been supplied to the city, and if not, it needs to be. Because if players get hurt and it's on city property, and that's not enforced, they're gonna come up to the city. And then whatever's written won't be worth the paper it's on.
Well, and it does come into play as far as the fencing and the other issues around there. You know, who's responsible for upkeeping that, and then if something doesn't happen, whose insurance is it? Is it ours, is it the city's, or is it the Little Leagues? So, you know, those are kind of all gray areas, I think.
Especially those, like those sinkholes out there.
Yeah.
Lots of things can happen.
Does the Little League do blanket policies on the players? Like, do the parents sign a blanket policy for them when they, never mind.
But
You know, like when your kids go to church camp or something, you sign
Right,
that thing
sometimes I'll
saying,
have that.
Chris went and registered.
it's a blanket policy.
Mr. Jackson, I'm like,
Well, actually, Jason did too, but
I'm trying to think, you know.
Yeah.
I don't think so. At all.
well, a lot of these things obviously falls underneath the city managers.
And then also they're putting up batting cages there, so putting up new batting cages.
At the front of the entrance of the baseball field.
And they're gonna have telephone poles around them, I guess, to anchor them.
So it's not gonna be pretty.
Well, we just don't want anybody to get hurt, you know, I mean, because that's a concern, you know, if it's not done properly, and, but, you know, from my understanding, they have to get approval from the city
Mayor just
manager to do anything. Yeah, she had to go to a meeting,
Yeah.
but they have to get approval from the city manager in order to do anything out there, so,
You would think.
Yep. It states in here that improvements then become property of the city.
You know, if we could get all this here really organized and all the legal legalities and stuff squared away, when we this company, when those people that wanted to put the sports complex in, that time when I was on the 4A, when they were here, and they gave us a presentation, they said one thing, is a big money maker is Little League's World Series and stuff, where they actually televise it. And that one of the goals was if we can make the baseball, the wagon wheel concept, get some Little League fields in there and whatsoever, we could actually bring in more revenue by bringing in the World Series, and maybe ESPN would be here like they do other states, you know, and that would be a big money maker. The way the fields are right now, there's no way, we're ashamed to even have anybody come in and look at them.
yeah, when you have tournaments from other
You know.
towns.
We're not even prepared, really.
But it is a big thing, I didn't realize how big it was.
Other towns,
Yeah.
and then they come here, and,
But I didn't realize how big it was until they showed us some of the
Oh, yeah.
pictures and the income, I mean, the profit they made out of them, you know, it was unbelievable. You know, the people really, the Little League really is big.
well, and
You know,
they
as
wanna
far
do
as-
something with the concession stand, you know, they can
Right.
make a lot more money if they had a decent concession stand, but they don't have a decent.
And that was one of the I mean, all this here, what we know what we need, you know, I mean,
Exactly.
this stand will bring it, would bring people in, a good field, you know, good looking field, a good actor, would bring people, you know, would bring stuff in. that's what this concept was. Naturally, the only problem was the wagon wheel concept and the money was the fact that, because when we went to San Diego and looked at it, it was fantastic. But, and they had people coming from San Diego, from Los Angeles. Geico was coming all the way from Los Angeles to play in that field. You know, in business, and they would have supplied all the work, they would have supplied everything. All we had to do was lease the fields to them, they would build it, and they would do everything for it. They maintain it, they hire and fire, but it'll always be contracts saying local, you know, everything sounded great. The thing is though, the wagon wheel concept, we didn't need that many fields, you know, so that was, you know, because it all fell apart. But what the thing was brought out of there is what we all know now, is good food will bring people in, and it will also attract these organizations, not just Little League, but sometimes corporate, like the San Antonio corporates, they have their own leagues too, softball league and stuff like that. We could bring people in, but
But we gotta make it nice.
we have to make it nice.
I think we were putting the horse before the cart too. We don't have the hotels or anything like that to
Well,
accommodate
they're-
anything near that
It's
big.
bringing up like mushrooms.
But they're booked out.
Well, I
so-
know, I know, but I'm just saying,
They're
you know,
never gonna move that from
Oh,
there for.
yeah,
Oh, yeah.
but taking parks, it's a bit of that concept, you know, I mean, we can still use it in the
Because other
future.
towns have done that.
Yeah, I mean,
I used to live in the same neighborhood with Mike Shule. Mike took the San Antonio group 3 years ago when they won the World Series, and then I think it was last year or the year before, they got eliminated in either the semifinals or, yeah. So he might provide some definite information for us that we could glean from it. But Cindy's right, you know, if the city, or rather, if the state doesn't recognize through the paperwork that we're not who we say we are, then that's gotta get fixed. And like I said, I'll try to get on Andy's calendar tomorrow and get with Alex.
Well, that's-
Find out that.
That's key, and then you know, you were talking about something that where we can get out there and do something. We were talking to, well, you talked to him about the concession stand, about would paint it.
We have somebody who will paint it. He's a painter, a local painter here in town. If we supply the paint, he'll paint it. The outside, the restrooms, and it would take a little bit of effort, you know, on our part, because there's railing around there. But, you know, he has a sprayer, and just to make it look nice, all one color. There's a lot of rotten wood, but if you paint it, give it a new facelift, it will go a long way, you know, to helping the whole area look nicer.
Does he know how much paint?
Well, I can ask him, but I didn't get that far because I was so happy that he volunteered to do that, and I didn't know, you know, what, but I mean, you know, a few 5-gallon, I mean, it's gonna go a long way.
Well, you said we had $4,000
you know, let me, my brother-in-law's a painter in town here too. Let me ask him.
Who's your brother-in-law?
Henry Salza.
Oh, okay.
Let me ask him, a lot of times he has a lot of excess paint that he's not using
Okay,
and
well,
stuff.
that's our next question
Okay,
to
I
bring
mean,
up.
see how-
You might ask one of the builders too, like, I know Ross Barrera did a great
Well,
work.
we talked to Ross, but he's really busy right now, because he was gonna volunteer to do it, but he's really busy. And so, you know, we didn't wanna keep asking, and there was somebody on the Little League board that was actually doing the asking. And, so then we started thinking, well, okay, but what colors do you paint it? You have to kind of stay, and if we're gonna have a, you know, concept of all of our parks, having this nice look, we probably need to pick some paint colors and stick with those colors throughout our parks, because when you start going online and looking, everything looks natural, it's all the same colors, it's real clean. And so, you know, we could start with that concession stand and progress, and then go to Pecan Park and, you know, have a painting day and paint those restrooms, you know, just get everything and start with some paint colors. Because Michelle and I were kind of looking, we were like, you know, we could stay with the tan.
If you look at this picture,
Paint fades over time too, so
Well, I know.
darker might be better.
well, I don't know if you can see this,
We
but
went out
just
there.
look around. We just looked and we were like, how many colors are there just by snapshotting right there?
I mean, right now, I'm out there a lot, so I'm like, what can we be doing?
And it's just, they're painting like that one score.
Oh, yes, the score box.
Score box.
Behind, they used to be green, Well, now they started painting it red. I mean, we have so many different colors going on out there, color schemes. I think if we just made everything a little nicer, and paint goes a long way with,
Well, you saw.
yeah, that one, how they started. You know, everything kind of needs to be uniform, cleaned up, nice, and let's stay with just certain colors, and I think it'll go a long way into looking nice.
But paint is an easy thing that we could all do. I mean, we could have someone professionally do that, because
Do
that
the
would
big
take.
part.
But we could all go do some of the other stuff around there. I mean, and the red, white, and blue thing going around, those little, what do you call those things? That's
They're the wooden,
everywhere.
Well, for the director of our information,
If you will come up.
Camera.
if we were to take a calendar and pick a day, saying that the Park Foundation needs help, meet at the city park, at the concession stand, wear your paint clothes and duds.
Weekend would be good.
So what I'm saying is for us to get it to you, to get it in the paper,
By Friday.
and it comes
To
out
get it in the
weekly.
It'll come out the next week paper.
and Little League opens April 6th.
Wow.
And we all-
I can actually
It was
probably,
supposed to be-
if you
it was
decide on a
supposed to
day,
charge.
I can attach it to this
You're
story.
talking Palm
If
Sunday
you decide on a
this
day
weekend.
today,
Easter the
I
following
can attach it to the
weekend.
story that I wanna write.
So we can do it completely
Okay, did you hear what he
after.
said?
No,
So
I mean, not the
he-
last.
He can attach it, if we pick a date, well, you said April, so we've got,
That must be April 13th. No, wait, no,
One,
it's
two.
April 6th.
You said
Do it
it's
April 13th.
Those both weekends are bad though. You're talking this weekend is Palm Sunday, and then Easter's the following weekend.
Right.
Doug.
And then April 6th, okay, it's opening day and the Home and Garden Show.
And I'm gonna be tired.
there's something happening on the 13th.
By the way,
My daughter has opening learning meals for Sunday, so that's
That's
her
our
office.
Gotta get rid of tickets.
See, that's gonna be half of our problems, is that, one, to get it advertised, short of printing some flyers ourselves and having HEB stick it on their bulletin board.
Well, I'll tell you what if we just, okay, we can get the paint, if we pick out, we kind of narrowed it down and
It's
it's
down there
just
pink and
somewhere,
something,
I mean,
just-
yeah. So what if we, pick the colors out, gave it to this guy and let him do the concession stand? Okay, he can do that whenever he can get it in. He can do it right away. And then we can go, we can, do a better day, the end of April or whenever. We wouldn't be rushed to do the rest of it, before opening.
The only thing he may not do is the blue railing.
Oh, really?
Well, because it's gonna take
Yeah.
more than spraying.
Yeah,
It's
it
gonna
is.
take,
It's-
and we had talked about doing it chocolate, so when it rusts, you don't see the
See the
rust
rust.
as much.
What's better than the blue?
The blue is, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, what do y'all think?
I think if we have somebody volunteering to do it,
I mean,
we
really,
can buy the
is
paint and
cheap.
get it taken care of. Let's
Wait,
make
is
some.
Ross the one that's gonna volunteer?
He was, but I think he's just real busy. I mean, he wanted to, but, time and everything. And this other guy is on, this other gentleman is on my son's baseball team. His son is on my son's baseball team, so.
No, I'm not-
And he's worked, I think he's worked maybe with Henry Salazar. He's worked with Ross.
Henry used to do this at the high school a lot. He used to get contracts through Kincaid, who used to be
Mhm.
he used to do a lot of the painting there. But I can ask him, because he's got all the equipment too.
So second.
Well, I mean, if he would be willing to do, if this gentleman would do that, and then maybe if he could, your brother-in-law
might
could do something else, like the score, what are you
The
calling those?
score box, I
The
don't know what they're
score
called.
boxes.
Yeah.
That are,
Yeah.
3 different colors.
Are they green, or are they
Yeah.
maybe burgundy?
Well,
We don't know.
I'd ask Ross to-
Well, is he a competitor to this other guy? Is he a competitor
Maybe ask
to
the
this other
couple
guy?
of builders or like
Do they want?
No, Henry knows Ross. Well, I don't know about this other guy, I don't know. But they're not competitive. Sometimes they subcontract together. It's just that Ross usually, he gets a lot of jobs over in like Dominion and stuff like that. He goes, he's got some good jobs, and Henry is kinda, he subcontracts a lot with other contractors, and then he does a lot of local, so I don't know.
Would he do it pro bono?
That's what I'm gonna work on.
Yeah, because Ruben
Let's see.
said he would, and he's worked with
Yeah.
Ronnie Pena too. I mean,
But-
he painted my husband's Easy
but-
Stop store, so.
Well, yeah, Ronnie's another one. I
Well,
don't
he's
know about
already
Ronnie.
agreed, we need to take
Yeah,
care of the
he-
guy that's
Yeah.
already agreed.
Well, no, if you already
And
have
I
it-
didn't really
Yeah.
approach him first, the little
Yeah.
wee
But no, you
person
see-
did, and I was like, oh yeah, that would be
See, I
great.
know my grandma, the pro bono is the pro, you know, now, if you already have somebody, hey, go for it.
But, you know, like I said, you know, the railing may be a little bit more, but I don't mind going out there and doing that. I'm out there a lot anyway, so, you know, I told him, just tell me
I
what
might
to
have,
do,
hey, I might
what
have some
tools.
students that need community service,
Oh, that's true.
get them a brush.
Well, we're gonna need for a lot of, I mean, they can take care of the red, white, and blue,
Little fence.
whatever that is, I don't know what
Guards,
that is.
yeah,
Well, do I hear a motion that we fund the paint for this volunteer professional painter?
I make a motion, we fund the paint.
Do I have a second? All
Do we
those
need
in
to pick a
favor?
paint color?
I,
Yes, we need to.
Okay.
I say the darker
I have
the better,
that.
it fades after time.
Before
not
you,
the
before
darker,
you
but
spend
maybe-
any,
Well-
can we touch base with Andy to make
This is-
sure we
yes,
don't
this is
have
thought
to go to
about-
the city?
I know, that's
doing
my
the
next
lights,
The
question.
city, well,
you know,
can
and
we
then doing
paint?
the dark for the
Because
trim,
you have
for
two
the
accounts,
doors,
and
you know,
I don't think
so.
we have to check on the Wells Fargo
um,
one, but I
mean,
know
it's
we have
no
to
light,
check
though,
because
on the
we're-
26,000.
We're only talking about $100 or whatever for.
Well, it's gonna be more than
I'm
$100.
just thinking longevity.
Because
who knows when it'll
I have to
happen.
Maybe we
get-
can find a paint store that would donate.
Well, I know, we're.
Well, and we have to
hoping-
get good paint
I mean,
because the
uh,
bottom is
we were
stucco, the
thinking
top
about
is
doing,
wood,
you know,
and the
any
elastomere,
trim
you know, it's just
dark.
gonna expand and last a little bit longer.
Yeah.
Getting good paint, because if we're looking at 3 years, you know,
Do
3,
Sherwin
5,
Williams.
yeah. I've also used the Lowe's, the Duramax
And
on my
that-
buildings,
that's
the
good.
wood, because it, you know,
They have that stuff too, if there's some dry rot issues, there's some paints that you can use that will keep
but
that.
there's a
from-
lot of dry rot, so once you start,
That's true.
I
Yeah,
think
but
if we
there's a
just
lot
kind
of
of
layers.
paint, yes,
This last America, so
Mhm.
it paints like a membrane once you drive it.
yeah, yeah, there's a lot,
the
so.
colors, I really don't, care because I'm colorblind.
Okay, then we won't have you pick those
You're
out.
so-
I'm color addicted.
I do know,
The fingers, it was all them.
the one color I'm really good with is olive green, you know, olive drab, army green,
There you go.
but, you know. I mean, I'm not that bad, but I mean, but as far as, you know, like, okay,
We thought if we just stayed with a tan and a darker chocolate brown and just keep it, you know, because
Yeah,
the
I-
landscaping, the greens and
the
just,
spring break, I painted a bedroom floor that I made into like a little, office for me and my wife, and I used cement paint
Mhm.
that I bought at Walmart, you know. I was just an experiment before I stained it and did all that fancy, I just wanted to see how, you know, it was real easy. The thing is, I thought I had a dark green, but it was a brown. Right, so-
It's like
If it doesn't say it, I don't, you know,
Yeah.
I don't know.
you don't know.
It looks, you know.
You say, I bought the hoops paint.
So
See, I thought the high school color, I thought it was red, I didn't know it was
It'll
maroon.
come back tomorrow. over there.
No,
Okay,
like these two colors, I don't see
Okay,
much
so-
difference, these two colors right there, not too much
and
difference.
while you're out, I gave you one of these.
And that'll go far, yes, that's right. That'll go far in,
Yeah, those,
we're doing something.
three major portions, definitely the darker colors, they won't show rust is
You're
bad.
talking about for the,
The major,
The railings
major
and
sections,
the
I don't know if you wanna do like
doors.
trim in the minor sections and your lighter colors. If
see,
you're
we
gonna
were
do,
talking about it the opposite, but you're thinking,
I think, well, do bulk of your painting this, because it won't show
That's what I thought
stains
too.
and rust and all that. These will.
Plus, paint fades over time, so if you get one of these colors, they're gonna be real light after
By the
just
time
a
these
short
fade,
period of
it'll be
time.
Right.
Yeah, so that if you go with a dark with a lighter trim, it will do the opposite. Plus, the lighter trim makes it look cleaner.
We don't want to emphasize too much on the trim.
no, we don't,
Yeah.
it's just pretty ugly.
There's
Just
just
saying.
one trim board on the very top that we'll
I just
emphasize.
pass these on. I don't wanna be responsible for ugly colors.
Pretty much they all blend together, you just say,
Well,
these
what-
two.
Well, while we're talking about projects, fundraising projects, work projects. Obviously, we need money. I don't know enough of the clientele around Floresville, so I'm gonna have to trust you folks who lived here, for those two that worked on the Friends of the Library. People thing that came to my mind was, is that when I was a squadron commander of a maintenance squadron out in Tucson, when we went to the desert during the first fight, and when we came back home, we sold entertainment books in Tucson, to where the profit off of selling the entertainment books, we completely paid for everybody's steak and all the beers of those 92 or 93 people that we sent to the fight to support the A-10 plant that's out there. And I said before, short of me having to make brownies to do a cake sale, but we need to get up dead center, one, and get some notoriety in the city, obviously by showing up. And I don't know if Thomas works or if he's retired, but anytime, if you just give him my number, I'm a painter.
Oh, Ruben?
Yeah, as long as it's not on a Sunday, because I play golf on Sunday.
Okay.
But I can go out there and help him and do whatever, but the Knights of Columbus sounded like the individual I talked to, the Catholic girls, came up to me and said they'd do any kind of work and labor, stuff like that. So we need, people that do steel brushes. When you talk to the painter, find out, is he gonna provide the rollers? You said he had a spray machine.
Mhm.
Does he have the putty knives, the steel brushes, whatever's required to
Scrape.
knock the dirt off? Does it need to be power washed first?
He's probably gonna power wash it, just do a light power wash on it, we can't do too heavy of a power wash.
Yeah,
because-
the
yeah.
wood
Probably
will be
just
gone.
car wash it a week before,
The wood will
Yeah.
be on.
because you want to
Let
about
it
3 to
dry
5
out.
days to dry out really good.
Mhm.
And is he gonna, is that gratis too? Is he gonna provide his own gasoline powered? We obviously can get him.
If not, I have a little electric one, and it works great on my buildings, it'll work great on that, so,
Okay.
we'll.
And then the chemicals, if he's gonna use chemicals, short bleach. Just basically, I guess, find out what all he needs
Okay,
as far as financial support.
okay.
But the reason, like I said, I gave this thing out, we can do something as simple as this. There's a bike and hike trail out here. Like I said, I've got a friend, I don't know if you guys know Pete Uhouse and his wife Joanne. But he's a avid long distance bike rider. And he said it would be anything, we use a center point and an end point as a civic center or the park. And then do a 20-mile, 30-mile, whatever, all those guys like to ride.
Don't Zagers already do something like that once a year? Jonelle Zager Chiropractic. It seems like they do a bike ride that goes through that park once a year.
See, any of those kind of events like that, if we could somehow tie in with them and get some, nothing else to be out there to be timers or, Yeah, provide
She used to be
water.
out here, though.
Yep, both in Laverne, both do bike events.
Yeah.
yeah, he did the
But it
Laverne, the
starts
long
here.
ride last year.
Both has the ride to remember,
Yeah.
Mhm.
and their medium route goes right down 97 past the park. That's their medium route. They do 3 routes, a short, medium, and long.
Yeah. And Pete told me that they have people at certain areas along the way for the rehydration, their energy drink, bars, whatever it is. I mean, we could, if nothing else, volunteer to support those type activities.
A lot
And
of
then
this-
if we can sponsor one, I know that the Celiac Society of South Texas, because my wife's a celiac, I say celiac at times and get in trouble, but they have what they call a gut run up in Austin. And you can either run, it's either a 5K or walk a 2 or 3K. But all those type things, obviously, you're gonna need initial funding to get into. Do we do it for, donations? We could get the Catholic girls and maybe some of these booster clubs at the high school. Find somebody around here that's got a car wash that let us do a car wash. I know it all sounds like menial stuff, but if we don't have the big monies coming at us, and we really need to get out and, start shaking the bushes and try to find some coins.
You know something they do, and it's always smaller parks because I've been to 2 or 3 of the events, like those Tough Mudders and those kind of events, those obstacle course events, it's always like in the middle of nowhere. I mean, like small town, it's not, you don't have to be anything, to do those kind of events. I wonder if we could look into doing something like that, because they draw a huge crowd.
They do.
What's it called, an obstacle course?
There's like different ones, like the most famous is Tough Mudder.
It's like a mud. Oh, yeah.
It's like a 10-mile obstacle course through some of the most.
Oh, man, all the
awful-
that's redneck territory right there.
Yes.
They charge an
Yeah.
entry fee, well, Tough Mudder sponsors them, so a lot of it goes to them, but they're still leasing the space that they're doing
I
this.
just wonder how much do you make, like what would be our,
I don't know.
Plus you'd have to get like the climbing things and all of that. I mean,
Well, no,
you'd
they
have to
bring
make-
it all in.
Oh, they
because
do
they're-
bring it
Yeah,
all in?
you're just leasing them the space to do it, basically.
Oh,
And you make money
okay.
off leasing the space.
oh, man, we'd be full of rednecks, man, God.
But people remember you here, you just start drawing.
No, but because I have some students there. There's one girl. She comes in there. She loves Mudfest. Oh, Mudfest is she's into Mudfest. You know, I mean, her whole family is Mudfest.
Tough Mudder is not, Tough Mudder
Yeah.
is like hardcore people that work out.
Yeah.
Like big time workout.
Oh,
You
really?
electrocute yourself twice.
Wow. I don't know about
It's crazy. Yes. But you get a t-shirt at the end that says, I'm doing Tough Mudder.
Oh,
That sounds something like swamps of Louisiana.
Yeah.
The mud,
Is it-
whatever.
when the
That's
name-
why we needed Tom.
Also, it has nothing to do with vehicles then.
No,
Oh,
I thought it was a.
it's a,
yeah, it's not like that.
Oh, okay.
No, it's an
I was gonna say,
obstacle
Chris will tear
course.
up the whole field and
You know what it's
rednecks
like?
all over the place.
It's like the confidence course that you do in the Air
Oh,
Force
okay.
on steroids. So
Oh.
it's
Mini
very
Ironman.
like that, yeah.
Like Iron Man.
Yeah.
It's worse than CrossFit.
So, does everybody have
For one time, I just-
Microsoft appliances that would have a calendar on it? Because even as we're sitting here thinking, we need a calendar then to start doing some targets, so that Thomas, he volunteered last meeting to be our project coordinator. But we can brainstorm all we want to until we actually get the motor running. You know, if we can do something to volunteer, it doesn't cost us a whole lot, and get some notoriety. And you volunteered to do the fundraising.
And I've got an idea on something too, guys. At Easter time, the parks, that like Pecan Park has 2 different Easter egg hunts that draw in, I mean, huge crowds of people. I think we need to put a flyer together to pass out there. And I'll even volunteer to pass them out because I'm gonna have to be at one of the Easter egg hunts anyways, because I'm volunteered for that. But I think we need to get something about, like reminding people to take care of the park,
Good idea.
letting people know that we're there, and if they have any concerns, to call us, that kind of flyer. Just kind of an informational flyer to hand out to the people that are there, because, I mean, I know for our Easter egg hunt, there's probably 200 to 300 people there.
Oh, my God.
And then and before we have ours, the Knights of Columbus has theirs too.
Wow.
So, and then I have another suggestion. Now, my church won't like me very much for this, but I think for those kind of events, when they're gonna take over the whole parks like that, the city needs to look at charging some kind of cleanup fee for the park after they get out of there. Or requiring that maybe they have volunteers take care of it or something, because that's something else. I mean, through what Alex has said, become very aware of, people tear it apart, you know? So that was another idea and suggestion I had.
That would be Andy Jocelyn / the park department. And on that, I thought you could say something like we could show up back where pick them up with a big igloo cooler
Well, you do that too.
and sit and sell water or.
Well, I mean, the church is pretty much Knights of Columbus, theirs is early in the morning, so the kids get candy and then they go, but our church serves food and drinks and everything else for free, so people aren't gonna be buying water from us when they can get it from them for free. What church is the Oak Hills Community Church?
Related to this fundraising, do we need to get our tax status ironed out first, especially the state, before we start doing fundraisers?
Probably.
So I think that needs to be number one first.
We're putting
I'll try
our,
to get on Andy's agenda tomorrow morning.
we're so opening our cart for ours.
That's how I know we're signed document.
Well, there's money in the account raised somehow, I mean,
Well, after,
Well, you can put money in an account,
after the
but-
after the 28th February meeting, Gloria Martinez came up to me and said that they gave $5K to the foundation to be used for the first holiday extravaganza. And I mentioned that to a particular councilman. He first said he thought that was illegal,
Who gave the money? Who did Gloria say?
civic center.
Civic Center gave it.
So it been
Civic-
before, eh?
Say that again?
Well, I'll finish the story, I was going
Okay.
to print them out. Will happened to be at one of the audit meetings, and I was asking Deb Conley, who's the treasurer now, for the Civic Center. And he didn't have my email address, so he sent 4 articles from the Wilson newspaper, Wilson County newspaper. One of which shows Stephen, with a big grin, big check for $4,000. And that was back in November, December 2011. And there were 3 other articles that went with it, but since I'm not a subscriber to the online account, I couldn't pull up the full accounting when it goes to the blogs. Evidently, that check created people going all the way to the Attorney General, where the Attorney General told the city to give the data to whomever it was that was questioning that event that occurred in either 2010 or 2011, I forget which day it was. And it's pretty interesting, so I don't know if that's remaining $4,000.
So the Civic Center gave it to the Parks Foundation.
That's what Gloria Martinez said on the
Okay.
28th of February. She came up to me after the fact, because I had asked to address the audience. Told them who it was, why I was there, was to get their, the way I said it was to need your labor, your blood, and your money. Like that advertised. for the plan.
2010, I think she was she still on the, or was it, I don't remember, because when I was on the first time, that's when the mayor and 2 councilmen were on the board, before the charter kicked in. And, I don't remember that, it must have been after.
Well, the check says 4,000, which is $1,000 off of what Gloria said.
Supposedly there was 10 written out of the account.
But in any event, when you got all, did they give you all the back statements from the blanket and everything?
I just now signed